Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. If you haven't checked out last night's video where I found a little Spanish enclave of Celtic supporters in the foothills of Spain, I found the Albacete CSC bar. And yes, it's not even in the town, it's nowhere near a town. It's probably about a 10-minute drive to the nearest town, and it is basically in the middle of nowhere. It was a fantastic little bar, a fantastic little find, and hats off to Brian, who runs the Albacete CSC. And I will get some more information up as soon as we have it. I'll get it up on the channel so you can go and follow their Facebook page if they have one. I don't think they have one yet, but they'll certainly have one after last night's video. Anyway, we move on. We get to the Celtic news and we talk about last night's game. A lot of people were asking in the comment section last night, what do I think about the VAR decisions yesterday? It's my understanding that VAR, you've got to be off. You're ruled offside when it's a part of the body that can actually be used for scoring a goal. The corner tip of an elbow is not one of those items that can be used to score a goal. So was Greg Taylor offside with his elbow? We're not going to argue about it. A lot of people were looking for 9-0 yesterday, and I've got to say, if all the offside decisions hadn't gone against us, probably would have been 9-0. Brendan Rodgers had a little chuckle about it, and saying, well, it wasn't even a chuckle. He says the fact that they even looked at the penalty for Bucky Thistle is like, it was ridiculous that VAR even looked at it. But do you know what it is? It is what it is. We just get on with it. VAR's a complete shambles in Scotland, and I'm not really going to give it any more time. I think, we were caught offside a good few many times. Should they be calling the ball back quicker? This nonsense that they've got to wait until the ball goes in the back of the net after there's been about 4 or 5 actions of play is a complete nonsense, if you ask me. It's ridiculous when you see some of the decisions last night, but we get on with it. At the end of the day, that's it. We won. We're in the next round of the Cup, and we have a tricky game away. And if you look at some of the other games, there's always one team that gets a home game, isn't there? Anyway, we move on from that. Owen Beck. There was big transfer speculation about Owen Beck yesterday. That has been put to bed. It's been put to bed. Owen Beck cannot come to Celtic unless Liverpool let him go. Yes, unless they sell him to Celtic. That's never going to happen. They stole Ben Doak from us for next to nothing. They're never going to sell us Owen Beck. It's just not the way that Liverpool go. So that's one transfer speculation, one that could finally put to bed. The defender was wanted by Celtic. It's been alleged he was wanted on a loan, but he has played a big, massive, 7 minutes or something for Liverpool yesterday. And after playing for Dundee at the beginning of the season and playing for Liverpool the weekend there, he was a substitute against Bournemouth. He cannot now play for Celtic as a loan player. Celtic would have to go out and buy the player, and I don't think Owen Beck will be getting sold by Liverpool anytime soon. So it looks like we're stuck with Greg Taylor. Does that open the door for Thiago? We'll talk about him in a minute. He is a natural left-sided player. It would have been good to get him in if there was even a chance, but Celtic were never going to be in the races to buy him, I don't think. And I don't think Liverpool will sell their young players. It's just not the way that Liverpool do things. Anyway, talking about young players, Celtic finally gave a chance to the young team. We've been crying out for it on this channel, crying out for it all season long. If they're good enough, get them in the team, no matter their age. We're bringing in players from abroad. We buy players at 20, 21-year-olds, and we put them straight into our first team. It's a bit disheartening to some of their young players, and I think that Rocco Vata took his chance last night. And I'm going to talk about Rocco Vata now, because there's a lot of speculation saying that he could leave Celtic, and even myself, I thought if he's not going to sign the contract, the lad, and it just shows you that we really know nothing about what's going on behind closed doors at Lennoxtown. We can all add to the speculation that we like, and we can all have our own thoughts on what we think is going on. But when you look at what one of the coaches from the B team said last night, it looks like Rocco Vata might have re-established himself as a Celtic player. Yes. I am fucking choking on my words this morning. Yeah, I am choking on my words. Rodgers tells Irish prospect Rocco Vata that he must earn a place in the Celtic first team amid Italian interest. The Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers told the Republic of Ireland under-21 player Rocco Vata that he needs to continue earning the right to play. After the 18-year-old netted his first goal in a 5-0 Scottish Cup victory over Bucky Thistle, the winger. And it was interesting that we didn't play him as a winger. We played him as a sort of more through the middle, as a striker. Has Brendan Rodgers seen that and saw that in his game? and thought, you know what, we can maybe utilise you better running through the middle, a bit like what Kyogo does. Is he a natural winger? A lot of people on this channel have been saying, look, he's garbage, he's no use as a winger. Has Brendan Rodgers seen something in him that said, you know what, we could play you as a striker? Is it the turning point of Rocco Vata's Celtic career? Is he about to sign that new contract and put to bed all the speculation that he's going to go to Italy, to Sampdoria, to Bologna, to Como, or will he head off to Spain? Anyway, it looks like he has had a door open to him at Celtic, and will he take that chance? Young players, Brendan Rodgers says, he says, you have to earn the right. There's been a lot of noise around Rocco, but any young player has to earn the opportunity. I've given so many young players opportunities in my career. But like Rocco, he said, Brendan Rodgers, he says he has qualities. He's strong, he's aggressive, he wants goals. And when he came and got his goal last night, he had other opportunities. When asked about Vata's future, Rodgers said that will be up to him. He's a talent. There's one thing that I did notice at the game last night. As soon as Rocco Vata scored, Brendan Rodgers went running to the laptop to watch the replay of the goal to see how good. And I'm got to say, he took his goal really well. He came into the box. He made a good run into the box. He stood in front, beside the defender, and then he made a bit of space. He came back a couple of yards and made a bit of space for himself, and then sneaked in behind the defender. I've got to say, for 18-year-old, he has got the talent, and I want to be proved wrong. I want Rocco Vata to come out, and if that's the way that Brendan Rodgers sees him playing, well, fair play to Brendan. You know, we give Brendan a lot of stick. It's time for Brendan to come up and show what he can do with players. If he's going to turn Rocco Vata's career around at Celtic, brilliant as far as I'm concerned. Saves us going into the transfer market and spending millions on a striker. We've all known that we need a striker. Maybe we've had that striker sitting in the Celtic reserves and we've just not known about him. We have known about him, but he wasn't a striker, so we did know about him. But anyway, we digress. We move on. It all depends on his mentality with him and his representatives, said Brendan Rodgers. So obviously it's the representatives. It is his advisors. Do you call them advisors these days? They're just idiots. They're just trying to get as much money for themselves. A lot of these agents never think about what's best for a player. That's one thing that you do notice. And I can speak with that because my cousin's son plays for Hearts, and he's been at Hearts for about 5 years now. Celtic Rangers did try to get him, but he's decided to pledge his allegiance. He's not even a Hearts fan. Nudge, wing, wing. But he is. He's playing, and he's coming through the Hearts system quite well. So I'm going to mention him in a few years' time because I'm actually going to put a bet on that he scores for Scotland. He's that good. Anyway, Brendan Rodgers says that you get some players whose representatives will tell you if they're not playing in the first team or starting, they don't want to stay. You better go then because you've got to earn the right. So it's obviously his agents that are saying, look, you should be playing in the first team. He's 18. And Brendan Rodgers went, nah, if that's your attitude, well, stick in the B team. He's 18. I don't need to play players that are ready at 18 unless they are the real special talents, said Brendan Rodgers. By the age of 20, 21, they need to be ready. He says, but you can have the tools at 18, but it's whether you can develop into that type of player. When asked if there was an offer on the table for the teenager, Rodgers says, I believe so. There's been chats around it, but my focus is purely on the playing aspect. So there is bids sitting for Rocco Vata. That's one thing that has now been confirmed. He says, but there's something there for him, I'm sure. Although I give him chances to Vata at 18 and Daniel Kelly also, you know, when you look at Callum McGregor, Rodgers dropped Callum McGregor. Where was Callum McGregor? We need to talk about that. Where was Callum? Does anyone know where Callum McGregor was yesterday? Wasn't even on the bench. Rodgers says, look, it was a good day for both clubs. It was a good day for Bucky Thistle because they got their fans down. He said, we got the job done professionally. When you look at the young guys that came on, they got their opportunity. Are they going to get that opportunity? Or they're going to be in the team week in, week out? I probably don't think so. But if he does enough, you know, he could be in or in about there. So it does seem like it is the agent of Rocco Vata that is pushing for Rocco to leave Celtic, which is a bit disappointing for me. And, you know, you can look at it one or two ways. You can look at a player that thought he got a big money move out of Celtic and he's hardly played any football. What gives Rocco Vata the right to think that he's going to move to another club and he's going to walk straight into the first team? You know, he's going to have to go to another club and then prove himself all over again. Anyway, we move on from Rocco Vata and we talk about a Celtic coach that where is it? Where is it? The Darren O'D. Darren O'D maybe gives us a little idea of what's actually going on behind the scenes at Celtic. Darren O'D took to Twitter and said, "First senior goal of many," as he reposted the Celtic FCB team Twitter. And as you see there, another appearance for Paradise for a first senior competitive goal for Rocco Vata this afternoon. Congratulations, Rocco. And Darren O'D says, first senior goal of many with a four-leaf clover. Does that mean that he's actually going to stay at Celtic? Has Brendan Rodgers managed to work his magic and say, look, your agent's an absolute idiot? You never know. We'll find out in the next couple of weeks. Anyway, let's move on from that. And Celtic obviously winning yesterday, and Paulo Bernardo scoring another one. Paulo Bernardo has been a revelation since December. Paulo took to his Instagram, and one of the alleged targets of Celtic also managed to have a little heads up to what a finish Sir Paulo boy. So, yeah, you never know. Is he on his way to Celtic? He maybe not be, but anyway, he's been talking to him. Let's talk about the goalkeeper situation, because obviously there's been a lot of speculation about the goalkeepers, about the Liverpool goalkeeper, but the fact that Liverpool are ready to ask for a fee of 20 million to part company with their academy product. Would Celtic go out and spend 20 million on a goalkeeper? Not a hope in hell. Not a hope in hell. We're not going to spend 4.5 million on a striker that we had the chance to. We're never going to spend anywhere near 20 million. There has been suggestions that Celtic would prefer a loan to buy option for the goalkeeper if Liverpool reduce their asking price. Will they reduce their asking price? I doubt that. The speculation from Matt O'Reilly. Matt O'Reilly was asked about it after the game. And he was obviously, he got man of the match. Is it a big thing, man of the match against Bucky Thistle? It's one of those things. Somebody has to get man of the match. But Matt O'Reilly, you've got to say, is in fantastic form. Celtic will demand a fee of at least 20 million for Matt O'Reilly in the summer window. It has now been suggested. People have been talking about it. The speculation is not going to go away. People are interested in it. Report from La Liga, from Serie A, he will end up going. And I think that Celtic it's been suggested late last night, that Celtic will hold out for 20 million fee for the Denmark international player this summer. So it'll be interesting to see when it comes to the end of the campaign in the summer. I don't want him to go. Personally, I want us to be building round Matt O'Reilly, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Paulo Bernardo, Lewis Palmer. These are players that are going to, I hope, to stay at Celtic for a couple of years and get us that good little run and show what they can do in European football, rather than jump ship really early. If you look at O'Reilly's managed 10 goals, 10 assists across 28 games so far this season, which makes him a fantastic asset for Celtic. And we get back to the Liverpool win. I don't think Celtic are going to go for a keeper at that kind of price. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. Tell me what you think about the VAR situation. The VAR situation was comical. A lot of people that had 9-0 on the live chats, and there will be a live chat tonight at 6 p.m. Celtic Park time. We'll talk about the VAR situation then, because it is comical in Scottish football. It is completely comical. And on that note, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope go now watch the video from last night where I was at the Alberterra CSC Supporters Club in the deep, dark mountains, driving up past all of the orange groves, olive groves, into the mountainside and up to this little, it was not even a village, it was just a collection of houses. And then we're driving into the driveway, and then there is a Celtic bar in the middle of nowhere. And on that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans all around the world. Yes, you have a fantastic day.